Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. Hi Kim. Hi everyone. Welcome. So glad to dive into another conversation. And as always, inviting everyone to look into this conversation, receive this conversation with an open mind, with fresh eyes, with fresh ears, as though you're listening to the information for the first time, even if you've heard it before. It might be a reminder, it might be a new awareness, but there's something here for you if you're listening. So we thought that we might dive into the energetics as we're exploring energetics, the energetics of time. And how time can be such a heavy construct and something that we really wrestle with, in this dense linear reality, and how there could be other opportunities for us to have a different relationship with time, different awareness around time. And so what are we thinking, Kim?
I love that, because you know what, for me, it's like time is an awesome tool. Like it is. But, yes. Like a lot of things in the Western world, it's almost like instead of using it as a tool, we made it more like a jail. Right?
So true.
Because it is an awesome tool, because without it, if I just said, you know what, Veronica, let's do a thing today, and we didn't have time as a tool, as a reference point, then what?
Yes.
Right? And so it is a tool. It's a great tool. But again, it's like, how can we be with time when time isn't even what it used to be? How can we be with time in a way that it works with us and for us, instead of us living by it and because of it and letting it create our lives? Because, man, my schedule... Like when I look at my schedule, it's really easy for me to soften in it for the things for each piece. But when I start to share, like when someone says, so what are you doing today? And I start to share it in detail, I'm like, oh my God.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and people are like, okay, I don't know how you do all that. And to be honest with you, I don't know how I do all of it either, because I'm also really good at dotting every I and crossing every T. That's a little bit of my OCD-ishness.
Right.
And for sure. And, but yeah, and so there's so much around the time thing for me. And so that's why I thought, well, let's have a discussion about this, because I don't know, I'm looking at, learning more about it. It's not a thing that we're ever, for me, that I think I'm ever going to figure out.
Right.
It's not that. It's not a figure outable thing. But how can we make it work for us and with us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think about, when I think about my corporate life, right? So I will have many days where I am in back-to-back meetings, say from 8:30 to 5:30, and I don't even have a break to go to the bathroom, right? And every single, it could be a 30-minute meeting or an hour-long meeting, every topic is different. And on top of that, I have usually between 100 to 200 emails that I have to work in a day. Plus I have my work that I have to do. And then, I'm navigating having a 7-year-old daughter, and a husband and a social life. But I have so much ease around it because I've created ease over the years. And I think now about what I have on my plate versus what I had, say, 10 or 15 years ago, and I felt so much stress and constriction around it all, even though it was way less, because in my mind it felt like a lot more. And I've really played for a long time around having ease in my nervous system and in what I have to do. And I play more energetically on, what it feels like to have things just solve themselves and just get done, and instead of thinking about it logically of these are tasks I have to do, I play more energetically of like, okay, what does it feel like for it to actually all just be done? You know, I've just recently, again, in the corporate world, so I have my full schedule, and then I have a peer who's gone on leave, and I was asked, can I also take on this team of 30 people on top of the team of 30 that I already have? And I said, yes, of course. And the person left, we think, potentially because it was too busy, right? It was too much stress. And I've taken this on top of what I already have, and there's already so much ease in the team within a couple of weeks. Like, things are just solving themselves, and the Q volumes are going down, and so it's more about, like, we get really, like, to your point, Kim, really stuck in our mind of like this construct of I have all these things to do, and if we look at it only from our mind and not really consider it energetically, it can be very overwhelming.
I agree 100%. That is so good. I love it. You know what, Veronica? It doesn't surprise me one little bit, though, that you said yes, and now they're all experiencing more ease. That does not surprise me at all, because if you're showing up, and if I'm showing up with, oh my God, I got to get her done, there's so much to do. Like I said, so for me, it's like, okay, when we are done our event here right now, I'll go look at my thing, go, okay, what's next on my plate? Do you know what I mean? And so I'm also, and so then I just do the next thing. Because if I look at, here, I guess this is a good one for me to play with. If I look at what I've got to do in the run of a day, and all the I's I got to dot and T's I got to cross, right? That's a lot on a plate, right? However, if I just look at what's in front of me right now, right? What's the thing in front of me right now? Okay, the thing in front of me right now is you and I. Okay, cool. Can I show up for that with ease? Yeah. Might it be fun? Of course. I'm with Veronica. Right? But when I look at the whole thing, like then I'm creating angst around this big ugly plate, and I don't even know where to start. I think that is what happens for a lot. I think that's what happens for a lot, and I learned that one myself as well. When I look at the whole thing, I don't know where to start. Right? Yeah. But when I look at one thing that I'm willing to do today, one thing, what's in front of me right now, right?
Yeah.
And I go there.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a big plate.
Right.
And like I said, it can be overwhelming, and I don't know where to start, so maybe I don't. Right? I remember that, when I first met Ken. He was a manager of a winery for I don't know how many years, and so he would be like, "Hey, just look at one thing. Don't look at the biggest thing,
right.
The biggest, scariest thing, right? Look at one thing that would be really easy for you to do today."
Yeah.
And then what? And so I did that, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And so for me, that created momentum. Because now I had done something that was on my plate. So instead of not knowing where to start and starting with the biggest, ugliest thing, because that's what I thought was the thing that had to be done, right? I just looked at one little thing. What's the easiest thing for me to do right now? And that created this sense of, yay, I did it, which created the momentum, again, talking about the energy of it, right? And then it was like, okay, now what? And now what? What's in front of me right now? We tend to look at that big, ugly, scary closet.
Yeah.
Right? And don't want to do it, don't know where to start, all the things. But that one thing, what is the one thing that I'm willing, that would be ease for me to do today? And if it's nothing, if you're like, nope, there's nothing, nope, my thing is all ugly. Cool, right? Cool. So what is one thing that you're willing to do today?
Exactly, yeah. And when you think about it, like in the concept or the context of energy, right? And when the way you've presented that in terms of like everything that's on my plate and my mind is trying to sort out how I'm going to get through everything, like how diffused is your energy when you're like trying to conceptualize all of it and you're trying to put your energy in all of it versus, and when you think about it energetically, when you have your energy, your focus on one thing, even if it's just the one step ahead of you or the one thing ahead of you, how much more powerful, when you think about generating energy, how much more powerful is that to have that focus, even if it changes the next moment or the next 30 minutes or the next hour, how powerful is it to like go all in energetically, and how much more momentum can that create for you when you're doing it that way instead of just staying diffused with your mind trying to keep track of all of it.
Oh my God, you brought in such an awesome piece. You really did. Like if I've got so many things going on and I'm not starting anything and I'm in oh my God mode, that takes up a lot of space in my mind. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross there. And so then we wonder, jeepers, I went into the kitchen and I don't even remember what I went in there for. That's because your mind is all over the place on all these things that you got to do. So on your note, when we're doing one thing, maybe if we were to just notice about focusing on that one thing. And yeah, the mind is going to do what it does, right? But when we go, oh, my mind's all over the place again, because guess what? When your mind is all over the place, so's your energy.
Right.
Right? And if my energy is all over the place, then how do I have the energy here, present, to be able to work with the thing that's in front of me with ease? Yeah. So I think that for me, I know that for me, practicing and noticing when I walk into the kitchen and I forget why I'm there, I get to giggle at myself and kind of recognize, oh my God, my thoughts were anywheres but what I was going to the kitchen for. I'm all over the place.
My daughter's school calling.
Okay,
Hello?
Go ahead, answer your phone call. Put it on pause for a sec. Or
Hi.
Put us on mute and I'll keep talking.
Okay. All right, sounds good. I'll come pick her up. Okay, thanks. Bye. We can edit that out. She's sick.
No, I think that we keep that in. Like, this is real life, right? This is real life.
My daughter just called. She's sick. I have to go get her.
Okay, so yeah, and that's real life. Like, real life is going to pull. Yeah. And there's things that I love that this showed up. I do, because, there's things that we can procrastinate on. Mm-hmm. That stuff, the energy of that thing still sits in our field. But there's things that we can't procrastinate on. There's things that need us right now. Your daughter needs you right now.
Yes, yeah, right? Exactly.
And so that is where your focus will go now. But when it comes to things that we procrastinate on, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's another thing in time. Mm-hmm. When I find the time, I will clean that closet. Maybe.
Yeah.
No one sees it anyway. Right?
Exactly.
However, that thought sits in my field. Oh, I got that damn closet, right? And so I can focus on what's in front of me, but this is still in my field. So what if I reached out to a friend and said, hey, will you come help me do my closet? Or do something, even if I went in and threw out or donated one shirt.
Yes, exactly.
It starts somewhere, so that then that creates a momentum. But listen, if you need to go right now, I get it.
I'm good for right now. So and I think, one of the things I've really been playing with a lot in the last year or so is like going all in. So like I have what I would consider to be really important things for myself, like in terms of my work, my daughter, my social life, my family, my own inner practice. And so I don't necessarily, every day might be different in terms of how much time I can commit to each of those things, but I really play a lot with being all in with what I'm doing. So if I'm working and, then I'm all in with my work, like I'm just all in, I'm doing the best I possibly can. When I'm with my daughter, I'm not being distracted by work. I'm not, I'm all in with my daughter. And so maybe there are weeks where I don't have a lot of time with my daughter, or maybe there are weeks where I have to take time away from work because she requires me more, or my social life or my family or whatever. But it's just like, I think about it energetically again, like what's it like to go all in on what is in front of you.
I love that. And that's because what you're doing, like when you're all in, your energy is not scattered.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's looking at the thing that's in front of you, focusing there, being all in with that thing. And now what? Right? And so it, to my point of, you walk into the kitchen and you're like, what did I come in here for? Oh, it's because my mind was everywhere but what I was going to the kitchen for. So I wonder if a practice could be, even if you're getting that hit, I got to go to the kitchen to get that thing. Just notice if you can just be present with the thought of going to the kitchen to do that one thing. And that becomes a muscle that we start to build on focusing on what it is we're doing in the moment, how we're being in the moment, and being present in the moment. It is a muscle because boy, oh boy, oh boy. Girl, oh girl, oh girl. Why didn't we always call that oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, right? That just popped into my head. Oh girl, oh girl, oh girl. Yeah, and like I said, because life happens, and there can be so many things that pull us, and we get overwhelmed, and we don't know where to start, so we don't. And then we're stressed out, and there's all the things. So what is one thing that we might look at, right? And maybe when it comes to the closet, right? Speaking for myself, perhaps I need to schedule that in my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's kind of like you see a friend or you're talking to a friend, let's get together sometime. And it never happens. For me, it's got to be scheduled in my calendar or a lot of things aren't going to happen. So what if I scheduled something like, okay, the things that I procrastinate on, like the closet, right? It's not me picking my daughter up in 10 minutes. That's a whole different thing. The things that I procrastinate on that still take up space in my field. It's still there. I haven't done it, but it's still there. It's something that every once in a while goes, oh, that darn closet, right? So what if I was to actually schedule it on my calendar and find a way to have fun with it? Right? What might that look like? Okay, so there's a call that I could listen to, that I've been really wanting to listen to. Can I, is it the type of call where I can multitask? Some are for me and some aren't. You're an awesome multitasker.
Exactly.
I'm kind of like, it's a cosmic ha-ha when I multitask often, right? It's like,
yes.
And yeah, I mean, it depends on the call. But yeah, so things like that. And so what would it take for us to find a way to have more ease with the things? If I'm doing this and I'm thinking about that and I don't really want to be here, then I'm not fully in it. I'm in it half-heartedly, which means so is my energy.
The other thing that I play with is, if I'm looking at, say, like my week ahead of me and I've got a gazillion things to do, I'll play in the energy of it all just getting done with ease, or certain things just sorting themselves out, or certain things just getting done with ease, and then I'm going through my week, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, that's already done. Like, it's not taking my brain power now to again go through my list of items and do the things, right? So I play with it energetically, and really feel into, okay, what would it feel like for that to just be easier? What would it feel like? I remember doing this, when you and I started playing together, and I felt like in my corporate world there was just way too much. I couldn't work enough hours to get the work done, right? And I was working like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and weekends, and I started, and you and I were starting to really play in the energy of creation, and I started to play with, okay, well, what would it feel like to be, closing my computer on a Friday and feeling like, I got it all done. And I started to play in the energy of that, and it was just wild how things started to just solve themselves, get done. And part of it I'm doing it, part of it things are just resolving themselves without me, but it dramatically changed my experience with time and the things that I had to juggle. And it's something that I've carried with me for years and years. And I think that's why I do have a lot of ease, even though I'm carrying a lot of things. And I notice people in the workspace that are frantic and that are spinning and that are struggling even when they have a lot less than maybe I have. And there are people that have more than I have too, but there's something about that. There's something happens that the universe meets us halfway and starts to take care of things and organizes things when we're willing to play with it differently.
And that's exactly the energetics, how you're being with it. So I had one of my clients recently, and she had this point of view that, I have this thing and it's gonna be really, really difficult. And I said, is that actually true? And she said, yes. And so then we talked about, well, how can it be ease if it's true that the universe has your back and you're functioning from the place of, it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
If it's true that the universe has your back, is it possible that it's going, okay, right? All right. It's going to be really difficult. You're the boss. Right. And so by the time she left, she was able to play in the possibility of ease, right? What if there was ease around this? And even though I don't know what that's going to look like, what if?
Exactly.
What's the possibility that there could be some ease in this? But I think, is it possible that, there's that thing of, there's that thing of, you got to work really hard to get things done. Like, does that sound like ease? Yeah. And all that stuff. What if working with ease is way different than working really hard and just getting it done, not from that place of stress of having to get it done, but the possibility of, oh my God, what would it create? What does this create? For me, it's like, okay, I love that we're doing this. And listen, when we start talking about creation energy, you, my dear, are, oh my God. Right? You are so, I love that. I love the conversation of creation energy. And again, it's all energetics, right? But 100% on the ease piece. Like I said, when I look at when I share with somebody what I'm doing, I often go, oh my God, right?
Yes.
But when I do each piece, right? Just each piece, one piece at a time. That's all I can do is one piece then I can be in it and committed to it instead of being in it half-hearted. When I'm in something half-hearted, I'm leaking my energy.
You are. It's all like being sucked out into you have these different pockets of all the things that are hovering here, and it's all being sucked and drained out.
Exactly. And so, what if we looked at what is something that is actually more energy expenditure? What is one thing? If we looked at what is one thing in my life, in my living, that is more of an energy output than what I get back from it? And look at that one thing and just go, do I really, really, really got to say yes to this?
Yeah, exactly.
Or if I say yes to it, am I going to be in it full, or am I going to be in it half-heartedly? Yeah. So looking at those things that are leaking our energy, but really not bringing energy back. There's no exchange there.
This is such an interesting thing to navigate with our mind, because time has just been such a solid construct for so long, and so it can be really tough to consider other possibilities that, and there's a lot of people, as you mentioned, Kim, that talk about how time is not the 24-hour a day, that we think it is. It was a construct at one point, but it's much different in terms of how things are moving, and that's a bigger topic. But I think just really tickling, everyone's curiosity to think that, maybe there's other ways that we can think about time, and other ways that we can think about the things that we want to accomplish within the time that we have.
And I think, again, looking at what else is possible with time, instead of me working for it. What would it take for it to work for me and with me in a way that would create way more ease?
Yes, yeah. I love it. Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, hon. Go get your
Thank
daughter.
you. Yes, I will. Thank you.
Big
Thank you.
hugs.
So just inviting everyone to just really, really, really question, approach time with curiosity. Where are you wrestling with time? Where are you struggling with it? Where does it feel like it's a bit of a battle? And where can you soften and think about it from a different perspective? Just moving into the questioning and curiosity can shift things.
I love that. And because you know what? A lot of people will go, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy, 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 busy. That never sounds like fun for me. Right? It doesn't sound fun the way it's delivered. Perhaps it's how I receive it when they're saying. And so I started looking at the energy behind that. Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, right? That doesn't sound like fun. So I started looking at it and what is some other different energies around? What's another word that works more for me and would create more ease around it? And for me, it's my life is very full. As opposed to, I'm so busy. My life is very
How
busy.
How beautiful is that?
Right? My life is
yeah.
very full. Right?
I love that.
And because that
Abundance.
includes everything. Love with my family, whatever it is, right? So I've been substituting, looking at my schedule and go, oh my God, it's such a busy schedule. And saying, oh, my life is very full. That created
Just
a
an
little bit
abundance
more
of
ease
things.
around that. Yeah, exactly. It's a nuance. All
love
right,
it.
babe, go get your
All right.
daughter.
Love everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode.
I love you too. Bye, everyone. For now, see you next time.